Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary as Magic Stream on today, Sunday, May 7th, 2023. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big cheese.
Cat.
Ivory Starlight, not last this time. Who else is here?
And... say your name.
Hi, I'm Bugle.
You were just waiting for that, weren't you? Just a long enough pause. Not a grand pause, just a little pause. And look, we've already got people here in chat saying they are ready to Slogn'tfest. People know what's going on.
Diamonds.
I know how to slog. How does one Slogn't?
It's the same thing, except it only lasts an hour instead of 6.
I think 6 is being optimistic. I think we were over 7 last time.
You can
I
spend
don't remember.
slightly more time per card.
Right, to clarify, the difference between Slogfest and Slogn'tfest is not... it is the amount of time and the number of cards, not one or the other. We are not taking 7 hours to discuss 13 cards. Probably.
I mean, we can go right ahead and do 7 hours. Just don't be mad if what I start saying becomes a lot less relevant to what we're talking about.
Going to spiral off into incoherency.
I mean, if any one of us starts filibustering the actual stream, we have a problem.
Well, between last time and this time, we now have a computer program that can just create nonsense, and all we have to do
There
is give
we
it
go.
a sentence.
I mean,
ask it to make more cards.
GPT, do Slogn'tfest for us.
You
As
thought
an
there
A-
were only 13 cards.
As an AI language model, I am not capable of accurately reviewing MLP cards.
Who
But
said
you're
anything
gonna do
about
it anyway.
accuracy?
clearly,
Anyway.
clearly not us.
We don't have Chat GPT here right now. We just have GP. Which is only a portion of that.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to get you some tea.
Yes, I do need some tea.
His body currently produces that on its own.
We did have ChatGPT make us a card once.
How'd that go?
It was horrifying.
It was entertaining.
It didn't make a whole lot of sense.
That was the Pinkie Pie, wasn't it?
That was
Yes.
the Pinkie Pie.
It's the
yeah.
Pinkie Pie that I will not be posting an image of anywhere because it has a censor bar on it.
I was going to say, that had some interesting art choices to it, too. Anyway, we have 13 cards to talk about mechanically here. Before we go dive into this, a quick reminder on how we do our ratings, as there are 2 groups of content creators in this community that each do reviews of cards as they come out and provide ratings, and each of them rates them differently. Those of you who tuned in yesterday may have seen Meticulous Talk's stream and know that Meticulous Talks grades cards based on perceived or anticipated meta impact. They are trying to say, how much are we going to see this card within these general formats over the next X period of time? And how important are they going to be to what that format looks like? That's not us. We want to know.
But Grandpa's, how do we rank cards?
We rank cards by individual game impact. We want to know, within a vacuum, if you play one of these cards, what is the expected impact on the game state at that point in time? Or, the game overall.
I mean, if we're in a vacuum, I have different concerns, like the ability to breathe.
Help, how did I get in this vacuum?
Something like that.
I want to know why we want to scare all those cats.
Help, I'm trapped in a nutshell. How did I get in this nutshell? Okay. Since we've now devolved to Austin Powers jokes, maybe we should just go ahead and show the rating slide.
Oh, this is going to be funny. Alright, hey look, I found a rating slide.
Do we have a rating slide, or
Yes.
are you using the old one?
It's probably wildly out of date.
No, this isn't that out of date. Except it says meta impact on one of them.
Well, yes, because at the top end, I'm going to argue that you have game impact merely because the threat of this card being played messes with the game.
Ultimate game impact. When you see this card, you know the game has been defined.
I think we're going to have to upgrade Double Diamond Suckening Command after Living Silver's showing at BabsCon this year. That actually did quite a bit.
Where is it? Number 2?
Yeah.
On 2.
Oh, I'm actually surprised that's a number 2. I've always seen that as a 3.
Anyway, we may have some variance in opinions, but this is a general guide for what we're looking for.
Variance in my card game?
In your card game ratings, perhaps.
It is statistically more likely than you think.
I don't know if there's anything that we were unanimous on. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, there is. Oh, well, sorry.
No. There is nothing that all of us are unanimous on.
Yeah,
All
the
five of us, no.
closest is the third one. But
Mhm. Okay.
That's
Shall we get-
uncommon. Usually we have at least one.
Well, usually we also have 160 cards.
100, yeah.
Well, last time we had, I'm pretty sure we did.
Might have? Oh well.
Last time we had Dr. Hooves.
Well. Yeah. Yeah, alright.
All right.
Card number 1.
Let's do it.
Right, so these have not been released yet. Yes, these are high-resolution images. They're not print resolution. We still need to do a round of proofing, and then this will probably go out sometime next week. So keep an eye out for that. Card number 1. Garble,
Well,
try
go
me.
on. Start us off.
Start us
I'll
off what?
start us off. Garble, try me. 6 orange power, cost 5. 5 orange wreck. Dragon.
Hold
friend.
on. You've already got it wrong. It costs 4, not 5.
I thought I said 4.
You
I
said
said
5.
I said 5 orange wreck.
You also
You did
said
say
cost.
cost 5 as well.
Oh, whatever. When you flip a card for a face-off, an opponent discards a card. When you win a troublemaker or problem face-off, if your opponent has fewer cards in their hand, then you, comma for some reason, score a point.
There needs to be a comma there.
Yeah, there's always a comma after an if clause.
Not then you score a point. This is fewer cards in their hand, then you score a point. Wrong then.
English is
Diamond-
hard.
It is than, not then.
Diamond Song says Colorette goes hard. Yeah, that's a trend we're going to see on several of these cards here. It was kind of the original design intent between or behind a decent portion of this. So we have big chunky orange friend
Very chunk.
that is cost efficient, but also has a very high rec and has no method of protecting itself here. Even Rescue Party had a method of protecting itself with, it can't be frightened.
Which is pretty relevant if you're going to try and punch a villain in the face.
Right. And Rescue Party would also help you win face-offs by having you flip an additional card.
Yeah, this card does nothing
Right,
to
see,
help you win face-offs except be a 6-power body.
Rescue Party helps you. This card hurts your opponent.
Pretty
Are
much.
you trying to tell me that Garble is a bully?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on here?
I mean, Garble does look like he's kind of getting in Spike's face here.
I'm pretty sure he's inviting Spike to a beat session.
Wherein Spike gets beaten.
Yeah, wherein Spike gets beaten.
Sounds about right. That being said, I know this card has been featured on at least one of our live gameplay videos.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people have actually tried it for themselves. I think I can say pretty confidently, this thing is a house. Garble will do everything you want to by making it less likely your opponent will be able to interfere in anything you do by simply reducing the options they have available to them. And then doing the thing the dragons do, which is saying, I have more X than you, therefore I win. Action tokens, power, cards, doesn't matter. Dragons have more. Dragons like hoarding. And it turns out that second only to destroying your opponent's action tokens, destroying the cards they have in their hand is a pretty good thing. And in a color that naturally can get many, many extra flips, yeah.
Has anyone tried this in purple-orange with Garble? The purple-orange Garble?
The one that starts a face off at the start of your main phase.
Yeah.
Have not tried that yet.
That just sounds
More
especially
face-offs
rude.
better.
I mean, sure, right? If you can get if you can get the mid-range thing going, I think you can definitely play dragons with this. I have tried it with Smolder. It works very well with Smolder.
This is a card that I do not want to play against in Harmony, ever.
You could pretty easily get
Harmony?
like four
with showdowns.
4 cards flipped per turn.
Forget showdowns. Do you remember...
Harmony has Yoink. I'm not scared.
I mean, fair. But do you remember... What was the name of that deck that ended up flipping like 6 cards every face-off?
Why not just flip all the cards?
Yeah.
See...
Just run Big Mac.
I think that's too much, like, overkill.
What, Mod Mac?
Yeah, Mod
Yes.
Mac.
I mean, you could do it with Mod Mac. You could also do it with Vapor Trail with one purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Are you just suggesting I run this with Carboloader and just go, exhaust all my friends? Oops, your hand.
Yes.
I mean, you can. This is the thing.
Yeah. Not looking forward to running into this thing in Harmony.
If you're going to play a 4-cost card, it better do something meaningful for you. And if you're going to play a 4-cost card that can't protect itself, then it better help you close the game out faster versus just being like a threat that's in play.
So, this card is very obviously incredibly powerful if it's unchecked. So, like Thunderlane, right? If it's unchecked, it will run away with the game. The question is, can you justify the 4 AT costs in the first place? Because this card does nothing when you play it. You have to have some follow-up immediately.
Right. Your best case scenario here is to do the Pony of Shadows thing where you hit this off a Pony of Shadows and immediately drop it into play at another problem with a troublemaker you can challenge, and hope your opponent doesn't have an immediate response so that you can start getting value. And that can happen a fair portion of the time.
Well, you could also try hastening it into play with Royal Family, or a card we're going to talk about in a moment here.
Gross.
Yes, we could.
All right, what do you think about this?
I really like Orange having point acceleration, and I think this is a good way to be able to do it. Orange has enough methods of protecting its friends already, so the fact that this thing doesn't have any shields to speak of itself, I think is completely fine. But, like Beagle said, you do need to have a follow-up immediately after you get this into play, or it's trouble, so I'm going with a 4.5.
I got a bit of 4.5.
Yep.
Similar reasons.
Tell me that this landing doesn't cause your plans to change.
I think I had this at a 4. Yeah, it's a 4.
Yep, this is a 4 for all the reasons mentioned above, because 0.5s don't exist.
Fair.
Solid card. All right, next one.
Oh, I do want to say one other thing. Being a dragon is pretty nice with power play.
Yes. Intentional trait matching there.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we have to rate this one a 5 because everyone else designed it.
Oh, that was easy. Next card.
Now, we could have all rated this one the same, but somebody thinks it's slightly better than everyone else.
I do think it's slightly better than everyone else. You know
Plus it
why?
has Silver Stream on it.
Okay, one, it's got honk on it. Two, this is effectively resource removal in pink.
It's everything Aura's ever wanted.
It's even better than resource removal. It's resource stealing.
Sometimes that's not helpful.
I will very gladly, take your stick and hit you with it. I'm
Sure.
aware that things like Desert Road... Well, this
But,
is sad with Desert Road.
Like, let's say you're playing Pink-White Reanimator and your opponent has put a blindfold into play. Silverstream does not help you.
Sure. However, Silverstream could be hilarious if she manages to steal a motivational speech that your opponent has named the exact color that you also needed, and you just give them the ultra feel-bads.
That's pretty funny.
Right.
We should probably read the card text here.
Okay. Silverstream has bucket, 2 power, 2 cost, 4 pink rec. Ally Hippogriff, as usual. Exhaust this card to choose an opposing resource. While this card remains exhausted, you control that resource. If this card would ready, you may pay 1. If you do, this card remains exhausted instead.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone else says. This is Camo Stream.
Yeah, basically. It is kind of, camo stream.
We brought that up during the design a card session at Ciderfest last year, so sure.
And I think that there's not maybe as many places where you really need the I suppose there are places where that's relevant.
Color rec especially is important, but there's other things as well.
There's definitely a few resources where you need it. Throne is a good one.
Throne's a good one. Shield is a good one.
Yeah, Spooky Ruins if you're farming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some where that will be relevant. There's also a fair number of them where it's much less relevant. And because this obviously can stay exhausted for almost an entire turn cycle, stealing something on your turn denies it to the opponent for their entire turn. So,
yeah.
Now, it is worth noting that the wording on this card means that if something happens to Silverstream, where she becomes frightened, or leaves play and becomes a new card, or gets dismissed, that control of the resource will revert back to its owner.
Oh, I'm very sad. Riled Up says your characters. That would have been so funny.
I ready your Silverstream. Give me my bucket.
Yep. I mean, that would be extraordinarily funny if you found a way to do that.
I don't think there's a way in core.
Yeah.
Unless... Yeah, no. Wait, the Lyra?
That's not in core.
Yeah. It refers to this card, which, if she gets frightened or whatever, the reference goes away and then the modifier breaks. It is worded in such a way that if that wasn't the case, it would remain under your control. But, as GP found out, Silverstream will take your things. And then she'll breaks them.
Yeah, she sure will. I was very sad by that. It was quite rude. That being said,
does Fleetfoot have the Designer Guard text on it? Her?
Yes.
Cool. I never noticed before.
Pretty decent effect. I mean, it's not super impactful. It's a 2-cost resource removal that you can use repeatedly if you're willing to trade out which thing you do, but it isn't a new color, so I'll give it a 3.
Give it a 3. It's in pink.
It's a 3/5. It's resource removal in pink.
I put it a 3. Same reason as Aura, but obviously I'm not as biased in regards to pink.
Honk.
I am as biased. I still only am giving it a 3.
Okay, next one?
Next one.
Sure, I'll take this one. Antoine, Treat Order, 2 cost, 5 yellow wreck, 1 power critter. When this card enters play, put a 1 yellow critter friend token into play. Immediate, retire a critter friend, not just a critter friend token, but a critter friend, to pay 1 AT less to play your next yellow friend this turn to a minimum of 1 AT.
So, first, did you know that the snake has a name? Like, canonically?
I do now. I like retiring my extra critters or things at home or
Yes.
whatnot to reduce costs.
And note that that is not a one-time deal. You can repeatedly do that as long as you've got critter friends. So,
Antoine is also a critter friend.
yes.
If you
Retire himself.
if you are truly monstrous and you want to retire Antoine plus his buddy, you can do so to pay 2 less for your next yellow friend.
Is
I
the
like
minimum of
this.
1 text new? I don't remember that.
It's always been there.
Okay.
I like this with Fluttershy Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, that seems like a good synergy there. Is like, here's all these critters. I no longer need them. Let's get rid of them and put more stuff down.
Well, also helps you play your Fluttershy.
Yes.
Yup.
How do you figure? Oh, to retire
Reduce her
critters
cost.
that are
Yeah.
already in play? Sure.
Fluttershy, she the very expensive.
Yes. I think the only thing that kind of holds this back is that yellow has a tendency to run pretty cheap friends, so you're usually just retiring 1 critter friend at a time, which is not bad. You still have the option to do so.
I mean,
But
this
if yellow-
is fine, but if you're
This
running
is
around
a-
with...
This is a mono yellow AT gen. The last time we had a mono yellow AT gen, the game broke, and then the game broke again.
But it's not, and it doesn't generate card advantage. In fact, it costs you cards, so it's like not even close.
It costs you usually fractions of cards.
Yes.
Okay, so now I need to come up with a combo engine that involves, what's that? I guess you have to pay a token for that, never mind.
The floor here is very important. In fact, that's the reason you weren't able to combo with it, Bugle.
It's like we've seen this one before, and know better than to print cards like that.
I think this card should cost 6 and have 6 purple
No.
requirement.
No.
And no.
No. Bad.
And do some other stuff.
And reduce it to a minimum of 0.
That being said, this is very cute art. I do really like the art. It's not the art I originally wanted, but R is a medium. Won't let me
I'm
have
not
art.
putting that art on this card. Also, I believe you misremember the art that you wanted.
It was good enough. The elephant was good enough. Anyway, it's pretty good value. I can respect it, even if it needs a bit more yellow support. I've got a 3/5 on it.
Gave it a 3.
Oh, what did that get? A 3? Yeah. I think that could... I might be convinced to adjust that up a little bit.
Ivory?
Yeah, this is probably a 3.
Having played with the card, I'm a firm believer in this being a 4.
Okay.
Spicy.
It lets you use 2 turns worth of actions in 1 turn. It's very nice.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is restricted to yellow friends is actually kind of important.
It is.
Because otherwise a blue-yellow deck is going to look at this and just start rubbing its grumpy little hooves together.
I mean, you can still run it in blue yellow. You just have to make deck building decisions.
Yeah, but you can't start
Lots
slamming
of them.
plush dashes down, which would be way more impactful. So,
Right.
anyway, how about that hypothetical Spitfire tricorn? Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. You get a free sub sandwich when your prize wheel spin completes. I like it.
Okay, next card.
Jeez, why don't you take this one?
Alright. Scorpan and Star Swirl. Unlikely friends. Cost 1. 3 rec in orange and purple. 2 power. And opposing dilemmas lose and can't have abilities. Opponents need +2 power to confront dilemmas. So your dilemmas don't do anything. Well, not anything, but have no ability and harder to get.
Well, your dilemmas also are harder for them to hit.
Yeah. For all
Yeah.
those purple-orange dilemmas you're playing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
There's
you
an
might be
orange
tempted.
one that might see play.
I might play the purple one that lets me pay less for events if it's a 10 rec for my opponent.
I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in that dilemma, actually. Yeah.
She's is still sitting here like, no, purple does not play dilemmas even when it's a
Hey,
10 for the opponent.
They're okay, but there's still the dilemma that's like you can't confront it.
Yes, but that one just has meticulous 1, so like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'll-
cheese is also like that's another problem I have to somehow get a troublemaker onto.
It's not, though.
you can't confront that one.
Yeah, but your opponent.
The
No.
10 one. So yeah. But I don't know, maybe. Like it does make some dilemmas more viable for control. Also, this like 1 cost is nice.
1 cost 2 power.
I think
I am mad, though, that this has the Gargoyle trait when Tyrek does not have the Centaur trait.
Blame
Bad
the
guys
wiki.
don't get traits just for them, I guess. You have to
Bla-
become
bla-
reformed.
blame the wiki.
I don't even remember this
This
episode slash thing.
is
This-
season 4 finale. This is the flashback.
yeah, like this was. I forgot about this one too. GP had to be like, go look at this chunk, and I think he and I looked at the exact same frame and we're just like, yeah, that one.
I clearly need to rewatch the show.
Season 4 finale was great. You can absolutely watch that.
Promo art's gonna use Scorpion from the G1 movie.
Oh god.
Don't tempt me. Look, if you make me go back to G1, you're getting a Smooths card. Not the green one, the purple one.
That's fine. We'll also print Foreground Pony using Silly Pony Applejack.
I'm fine with this. You gonna call upon the sea ponies? Are you in distress?
Yes. Shooby-doo.
You're gonna be in even more distress after you do this.
Wait, doesn't that mean we have to print a Megan card?
Oh, you sure you want to go there?
Yeah, why not?
It's
Maybe
the
if we do that, then you'll have no excuse not to let us have a Nyx main.
Or Equestria
say-
Girls.
I was going to say, no. Megan is as close as we get to Pedestria. That's as close as anyone gets to go.
Okay, but this card, the number of dilemmas that a deck in this color wants to not happen is large. Like all of that blue stuff, no, that sucks. It scares my things. It lets them get around my troublemakers. This is just like very yes.
Yellow thing, no, go away, yellow thing.
Yeah, no delete troublemakers, no. Yeah.
This is ask for this card by name if you're in these colors.
It is a very nice effect. I don't know what deck this goes in, is the tricky thing. It is.
Yeah.
It's cost efficient. It has a nice effect. It does things that are good in theory for these colors to do, but I just don't know where you put it, and for that reason, I gave it a 3. Because I'm sure its game impact is relatively moderate if someone can find a good slot for it. Chase.
Uh,
I give it a 3.
Yeah, hosers in general are going to have either high game impact or low game impact.
So I'm giving this a 4. Because I don't think that this is a card that goes in your main deck, and I don't think this is a card that you automatically include. If the meta shifts to things that like playing dilemmas, this card gets a lot more attractive. And if you are playing this card, it's because you believe it's necessary to play. Therefore, it is, by definition, going to have high game impact.
It's fair.
4.
Or it's a Hail Mary, and you're already losing. I gave this a 3.
I gave this a 3 because while Aura said is true, you can also play this and it might literally not matter because your opponent never drew a dilemma.
I feel like that's a dies to removal argument.
Yeah.
Dies to
I'm
removal.
just saying it is difficult to gauge the impact of a card when you don't know what impact it is having.
I mean, I can't argue against that.
I can. I just won't. It'll take up too much time. I think that's the exact opposite to several other cards that we've designed in the past. I think if you can have a card that encourages your opponent not to take a particular course of action, then while it... Okay, are you merely arguing that it is difficult to gauge it, or that it is not very impactful?
That is difficult to gauge.
I think it's difficult to gauge maybe in an individual game circumstance, but we're looking at it from a meta perspective where we're not in the middle of that game right now, so I think we can gauge it pretty fairly.
I think this heavily disincentivizes even playing dilemmas.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're saying in terms of game impact. Like, it has game impact. It makes your opponent less likely to play. Even if they didn't have any, sure.
Yeah. That being said, we're sitting here arguing on a card that most of us gave the same rating for, so...
No, you've dishonored my family. We're enemies now.
Next card.
Next card.
Okay, Bugle, sounds like you get a fun one here.
So we are talking about silly ponies, but who's a lucky pony? So draw straws.
Discord's
2
not
cost,
a pony.
5 rec, 3 power. In pink, this is an event with no traits. Immediate. Reveal any number of friends with different names from your hand. Randomly banish one of those cards. You may put one of those cards not banished this way into play. So this card does say any number. I recommend choosing at least 2.
You can choose one with C Poppy.
Yes.
I was about to say, you don't want a free pop... Well, not a free poppy point, but a guaranteed poppy point.
I am sad that you cannot choose 0 and get a free poppy point.
Correct. There is a difference between making a choice where there is exactly 1 outcome and making a choice where there are 0 outcomes.
Yes.
So there are lots of friends I would like to put into play at immediate speed that costs more than 2.
But do you want to roll the dice about it?
That's the question. I would like to put a Catajack from my hand into play at immediate speed.
I mean, there's always the option of if you've got 2 of them, whatever.
No, there's not.
Different names.
Well, there
Different
is.
names.
You'll have to sacrifice another friend. I think that's what he was saying, is if you have 2 Catajacks, you can pretty freely use this on Catajack plus something else. But yes, it is intended that you cannot do this if you just have duplicates, because then that's cheating. Then you're not lucky.
No, I actually forgot it said different names.
Oh, okay.
Diamond Sog says the color rec goes hard. Yes.
Diamond Song has said that for 3 out of the cards so far.
Well,
Yeah, this is the meme of the stream.
so I'm going to make a prediction here that Diamond Song's going to say this 3 more times.
Nope, just 2.
Yep, just 2.
Are there only... I can't remember what they... Oh, no,
The
one of them.
purple
I
one
know...
was last set.
I like this card because you can have multiple different big thingies and play it for cheap. Like, you might not even care which one you get.
I mean, you kind of care.
See. I think I actually do have to bump this up to a 3. Because the game impact is always going to be big. It's just in whose favor.
That's a thonk right there.
That is a bonk.
Because maybe you just paid 2 to put a friend that was not helpful at all into play.
Paid 2 to put that Lyra that doesn't have any game text into play, and then she didn't have game text.
She didn't have game text. You
That's just
banished
building
a card,
your
and
deck
you
wrong, though.
played an event, and that's pretty bad.
Why are you running friends that you don't want to put into play with this card in a deck with this card?
I mean, that's true. Use this when you're going to use it and when you don't have another choice, right?
Yeah, because the answer is sometimes you don't have another choice, and you're probably running entry friends in the current core meta.
Yeah.
You also might go, okay, if I don't do this now, I lose, basically.
Right. There's also the other option that I think this card can be. I will say this right now. I think this card is at its absolute most impactful in 2 situations. The first one is what you were mentioning, where you don't have another choice, and this lets you do something that otherwise would not be possible within the colors or deck that you're running. To have an immediate answer.
You're going Hail Mary.
You're going Hail Mary, right? The second time, and the one that I think is going to be a little more frequent, where this card is most impactful, is on turn 2. If you are playing Skystar, and you spend 2 AT to flip, and then 2 AT to play Draw Straws and have 2 Tricorns or Big Threats in your hand, and you can get one of those into play on turn 2, that might be enough of a momentum leap that your opponent can't catch up.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it depends on the Tricorn, and it depends on your opponent's hand, but yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's the Reanimator gimmick of, hi, here's a threat that you can't answer yet that you have to answer a turn ago on turn 2.
Right. It's also worth noting you completely get to ignore the rec on whatever it is you're putting in. So the only thing you care about here is pink. That does mean that you can have really disgusting things where you go start with lacking lesson plans, right? Turn 1 bank, turn 2 flip Skystar, put your tokens into play at LLP, play lucky or play draw straws, and drop, I don't know, how about a garble into play at your opponent's buckball? Okay, well, you're confronting, and they just lost a card in hand, and you're probably winning the face-off. That seems gross.
But yeah, my big question, though, is the question you had with the previous card, which is, what deck runs this? Because Pink-White Reanimator can already do this without the risk.
But is it worth being able to do it faster and cheaper? That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, it's just cheaper.
Sure, if you're counting in my head.
I was. That would not be cheaper.
No, you're talking Royal Family.
I'm talking Royal Family. Pink-White can already do this.
Royal Family also gives your opponent something, though.
Yeah.
That's true, but you get to choose what you're putting into play instead of being a gamble.
You do. It's true. I do still think it's a 3. I think that there's enough on the high side and enough on the low side that this is always going to have an impact on the game where it's played. And while there may not be a perfect deck to use it yet, it's at least worth considering in several ones that do exist. And there might be enough going on to justify exploring new archetypes with this. Plus, doing this in mono pink where you just have very, very tiny things and then also very big things is quite funny. Just use this and drop a Postal Mare into play.
Now, the real big brain play is you have no deck and you cheat in a still partying before your draw phase.
The real big brain play is you cheat in a Redeem Starlight at the end of your opponent's turn and then get to play something for free.
If you have the rec.
If you got the rec. You got 5 pink at least, and now you got 5 purple.
I feel like this is a bad line of play simply because it involves running Redeem Starlight. Just,
I don't know. If I
just
can drop Redeem Starlight and leave her in my hand until the last minute, maybe. Maybe. Anyway, 3 from me.
4.
So I believe I'm obligated to give this a 3. I would prefer to give this a lower score. But did you read the card text? It's the average of 1 and 5.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. I agree.
I don't know. I really just don't think this is gonna do as much as you think it is. I say it's a 2.
No,
You're leaving things up to random, even if you can like kind of make it more in your favor. I think it would be better if you didn't do that.
yeah, the card cost is in fact notably high, but yeah, it is a 3. It does have impact. You just have to have the right situation.
Ivory has now transcended the color barrier to become a coward in multiple colors.
Y'all are just mad
Ouch.
that Nah, it's fine. Y'all are just mad that the deck still did well.
I'm a little mad.
I need cheap PNGs to defend this one.
Defend which one?
This upcoming one.
Alright, next card.
I'll defend it. I know exactly what I'm going to say. Go for it, Ivory.
This is Lunch Break. 4 cost, 5 blue rec, 5 power event, main phase. At the end of your turn, lose all your action tokens. Then take an extra turn after this one. Banish this card. I mean,
Look how sad Rainbow looks.
this card kinda speaks for itself, though Rainbow is sad here because this is absolutely not going in a blue deck. That's why Rainbow is sad.
Because this is going in a purple-white deck.
There are some blue decks this might go in. They're not the blue decks you think.
The blue decks that are going to run this are probably meme decks that might not be meme decks anymore.
Gallus might run this.
Yeah, but now you have to go back to playing Gallus Control.
I don't know if Gallus Control would necessarily be able to capitalize enough on the fact that this costs 4. I mean, that's a pretty steep investment even for that deck.
We'll have to see.
And there's much better cards that a Gallus Control deck might prefer to run. I say might, because obviously it's not my deck.
It does flip high. Okay.
It does.
This is our second card that lets players take an extra turn.
Second one in all of existence.
Let's get that out of the way right at the beginning. Extra turn. Not extra phase.
Starlight.
Full-on extra turn. It's pretty good. That is a tremendous game impact.
I would like to point out how much of... Okay, you want to talk about game impact. Let's talk about how much this makes me rewrite the end of turn rules.
It shouldn't.
It does.
We already had extra turns.
Yeah,
it costs a turn to play.
Did we might not have actually codified it though.
But we didn't.
Is maybe why he rewrote it.
Maybe.
Yeah, this makes some of the end of round stuff difficult.
Sure. If it goes to time or something like that. Okay, sure. All right.
So game impact, yes.
Okay. You say that, and I did just say it has tremendous game impact. There is an asterisk on the end of my statements. And that asterisk is the reason why I'm giving this card a 4 and not a 5. And that is because I feel like in 90% of circumstances, attempting to just slot this into a deck is going to result in you doing exactly what she's just said, or Ivory. I don't remember who it was.
I said it, yeah.
Where you are spending a turn to take a turn, except you also can't bank anything. And most of the time, that's not great. If you are already at a problem confronting, then this is at least 4 AT, score an additional point. If you have means of spending additional resources to move your characters back up, or you have means of gaining AT after you lose them at the end of the turn, like with the Guidance Counselor, or stuff that you would gain AT at the start of your turn, okay, that's a little better. If you have a means of copying this effect, Magic Instructor, Sweetie Belle, looking at you, then the game is basically over. But the setup required for you to have a board that is developed enough to capitalize on this is why I cannot call this card a 5 by itself. It is a 5 in the right context, and significantly worse than that in most other circumstances. So I'm calling it a 4.
Yep.
Okay. I'm calling this a 5, because you are not playing this unless it is going to wrinkle the game to the point where you win.
That's my argument as well.
And
you don't
my
play
argument,
this in a fair deck. You play this in an unfair deck and do unfair things.
yeah, there's only one deck that I can see this being used in, and that deck is not going to care about that cost.
Yeah. I think the question to me is actually, should this be a 5.5?
I don't think this card is going to push that deck. It'll make it stronger, but I don't think it's going to be what gets hit if that deck becomes a problem.
Miss me!
Miss Main?
Just pull out all the moistness.
I mean, it is the card that makes the deck.
Yeah, the deck would really struggle to find something else to do.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. But this card is,
This just speeds up the process.
yeah.
It's less that it speeds up the process as it lets you cheat time, basically. So like technically speeding up the process in that you're preventing the opponent from having a turn.
It's almost as bad as just time walking them. Ugh.
All right, next card.
Yep.
Next card. Alright, Raccoon Rampage. 5 power. 2 cost. 3 yellow rec event. Immediate, name a trait you haven't named with this card. Then each player retires one of their resources with that trait. Repeat this process any number of times. So who remembers Bewitched Beavers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who remembers Rip?
Yeah.
Who remembers what's her name? Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook? What if all those cards at the same time?
It's not Meadowbrook.
That is
People made
not what this is.
It is nowhere close. People made the comparison with Meadowbrook yesterday, and I was just sitting there in disbelief. Like, y'all are
It is-
crazy.
It does
is
a
much closer
subset.
to Rip than it is to Meadowbrook.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does a subset of Meadowbrook.
mean, Yes, Meadowbrook has a gravitational field that warps the entire game. I don't think these beavers or the raccoons are quite that angry.
Which is
No.
exactly why we should bring her back in Adventure. I mean, what?
No.
Yep.
Boo.
That'd be funny.
Boo.
So we had to change the wording on this card a little bit because I was sitting there going, okay, I'm just going to name accessory 50 times in a row and then Flitter is going to be sad.
Retire an accessory. I don't have one. I don't care. Retire an accessory. I don't have one. I don't care.
Retire another accessory. I hope you don't have any more hats, Flitter, because I'm going to take them all.
Actually, the bigger problem this would cause is where you would get caught in an infinite loop of naming 15,000 resources or 15,000 traits and then just take up all 40 minutes of gameplay time.
Well, yes, but I have a
That's
remedy for
intentionally
that.
Stalling.
Correct. That is intentionally stalling, and that is met with a game warning.
Fair.
I thought in
But
Tension-
yes, you can name Unicorn. It won't do anything, but you can name it.
Yes, it will become far more apparent if you are stalling here, and you can get a much faster slap on the back of the wrist. Stop that from the judge.
So anyway, I'm gonna play this, and then the raccoons are going to, have their way with all the things on your side of the field.
And maybe some of yours.
Yeah,
This is a cost I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, it is in fact double-edged, and it won't necessarily hit everything on the opponent's side.
Yeah, and so it's not possible to clean out Flitter's entire wardrobe. Just some of it. And that's all the Cloud Chaser really needs, is to remove the one bow.
It's a high flip, though, which is nice for resource removal, which in core right now, with the exception of Friends Are Always There, is actually quite low flip.
I just realized Saddle Row is an asset and not a location.
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah.
That being said, it's immediate speed, perhaps multi-resource removal that comes at a cost. That's still not bad.
This is pretty spicy. Like,
Yeah, it's very good.
stick abuse is back.
I'll give it a 3. It's fine. You give your opponent the choice, and most resources have the asset type, which can be difficult to get around. So for that reason, it gets a 3. But otherwise, it's pretty good.
3.5.
That's fair. The backswing on that's pretty vicious. Have a 4.
I think it's still strong enough to be a 4.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 4 because the number of times you're hitting 2 or more resources with this is going to be high, I feel.
Yeah. I don't think you want to rely on this as your sole resource removal, simply because of the double-edged nature of it. But I also
Just
think...
don't run resources.
Okay, look, Couch Potato would like to have a word about the stick. She needs it
And
for poking things.
And the Spooky Ruins and the Diurnal Amulet. All those things.
Yeah.
And the Conductor's Baton, apparently.
But, I believe Pegasi, the only resources it runs are dilemmas and a resource that it wants to blow up anyway.
It might run. Can never remember the name of it, but it's like the +1, -1 thing on
Diurnal.
Amulet?
Yeah.
Cyril.
Yeah. That one's...
Other than that, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, that one's kind of a... I don't want to say it a meta call. Those are both artifacts, aren't they?
Yeah, though that said, Pegasi has enough resource removal that it doesn't need this.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. Pink yellow, maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
if I put ideas in heads.
Maybe. Alright. This next card. This next card's so good. Also, movie from my childhood. Yes, I did just age myself or date myself.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
This card is forever going to be called A Dinosaur Story.
I never
Weird.
did see that.
It was strange. And kind of disturbing. 2
It
costs.
gave kids nightmares.
It sure did. 2 costs, 3 white wreck, 4 power, event, chaotic. When this card is flipped, you may put it into your hand. If you do, flip an additional card. Stop it, Diamond. No. Not in my head. Immediate. Put a non-epic troublemaker from your discard pile into play, face up. Okay, so no farm cheesy shenanigans. You don't get to just farm the same troublemaker over and over again.
Unless it's Tree of Harmony.
Unless it's Tree of Harmony. Or, Bluefy, I think, gets epic while it's with 3 or more characters.
There's a couple of other things that get epic if they stick around long enough, but sure.
I mean, let's really talk about the most irritating thing you can do with this, which is your opponent has finally managed to break through your Siren's wall. Oh, wait, no, they haven't.
Yeah, there's 2 more where that came from. They didn't even get a point because you probably replaced it during the Troublemaker face-off.
Probably so.
Well, when else would you replace it?
And also, you're like, wow, I don't have this card in my hand. I really wish I had a Weir back right now. Oh, look, I just flipped a Weir back right now.
Yeah.
Oh look, I'm losing the face off with the card I flipped instead. Let me play Weir back.
Anyway, it's got queen on it. Good card.
It's an okay card.
I mean, I can't argue with the has queen on it good card.
I am genuinely shocked that a card that synergizes so well with Sirens is being given the low score by Cheese.
Yeah, I'm also surprised at this.
Cheese is just wrong.
I'm just right.
Are
It
you?
costs
You
too
are
much.
absolutely gonna use this.
It costs too much.
It costs 2 to prevent you from losing a face-off, and then to immediately put you back in an advantageous position of either disrupting your opponent's hand with a grubber, or, bringing back a Sirens, which now you've built up an even bigger wall, which you normally like doing anyway. Or, heck, let's be really rude, you're already in white, so you could be doing Summoning Bell this whole time and bringing back the Lord Tirek that forces your opponent to challenge.
Screw Summoning Bell. Bodyguard.
I mean, that also works. Play this with Bodyguard. Build up a bunch of unicorns, bring Tirek back from the discard pile, and just laugh.
Yeah, I've done that. It's great. I love it. I just spent 2 and got 8. Thank you very much.
The other weird thing you can do, I know this is kind of an odd one, you might be able to use this aggressively as well if you're running some of the aggro troublemakers like Queen Chrysalis that can dramatically reduce your problem's confront requirements. It's kind of a trick.
Yeah, it also just it can stop DFOs. The opponent plays a dilemma. There's a troublemaker there.
Yeah,
All right.
2 is just categorically incorrect.
He rated this a 2? No, he rated it a 3.
Rated 3.
It's a 3.
Oh,
Okay.
fair enough.
It's a very solid 3.
It is significantly more than that. It is incredibly impactful. White has almost no immediate tricks like this.
Correct.
This is a 4.5.
I'm going to X it out and give this a 5. This is the kind of impact that causes people to concede.
I don't know about that.
You've spent 2 or 3 turns working through Sirens. And now there's another one.
You got a couple points out of it.
No, you got 1 point out of it.
That's fair.
This is a 5. If this lands, you best hope that you played it. Because if you're getting it played against you, you are unhappy.
Ivory?
No, I'm not convinced. It's still a 4.
Yeah.
It.
Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's gonna have. You're gonna use this. It's gonna irritate your opponent. All their work is for nothing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I absolutely have this at a 5, specifically because this is in white. This allows white control to work in current core. White has had an issue with stopping confronts for a long time.
Oh, this is pauper legal too. Ew.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Pinkie Pie. No, that's not pauper legal.
And you already went and disrespectfully disassembled that deck.
Yep.
But yeah, because this is in white, I'm giving this a 5. This absolutely has meta impact. It gives white control a tool it is desperately needed for a long time.
Also, look at Cozy up there.
And 2 AT tricks to stop confronts have been used for a long time. And if they're powerful enough, they're good. And I think a troublemaker is powerful enough.
I'm so glad Mimics doesn't exist anymore. Oh my god, I'm so glad Mimics doesn't exist anymore.
What, you don't want to replace
a
Mimics
great
with a
card.
Mimics immediately?
Get it out of here. I hate it.
No.
Next
I hate it.
next
I hate
card.
Go for it, Cheese.
Let's see. Citywide Shield. Costs 1, 3 blue rec, 5 power. Play to your home. If a non-token friend or troublemaker would enter play, if it wasn't played from its owner's hand, banish that friend or troublemaker instead.
Okay, so everything we just said about the previous card goes right out the window.
Yep. This card hates on that card and the pink one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things it doesn't like.
Note, it doesn't say how it entered play, so this will stop Grogar, even though it's putting it a face down troublemaker into play.
Yep.
Yes, because it prevents the actual entering play, so it's not face down yet.
Well,
it is a replacement modifier. If the friend was in play, if the friend or troublemaker was in play and it was banished as a consequence rather than banished as a replacement, then the card as worded would not affect it. Because it doesn't specifically reference face down.
Right.
But thankfully that's not what happened. Instead, Reanimator? No, bad. Cheating into play? No, bad. Bringing back from the discard pile? No, bad. Pony of Shadows? No, bad.
Yeah, but you know what? Good.
Tell me what good.
Portal.
No. Portal.
Me portal you thing.
I mean, yes, me portal you thing becomes viable. Me portal me thing becomes very bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, as someone who played against that and had a miserable time.
Yeah, that was rough.
I am not giving this anything less than a 3.
So, I actually agree, but my rating is based on the me portal me thing. If we're escalating this to adventure, where it can be a full 15 cards that are me portal you thing, then this goes to a 4 for me. But it's a 3 as it is right now. Here's the question you have to ask yourself: is forcing a deck playing portal effects to turn those portal effects into trading 1-for-1 with a single one of your friends worth them not being able to portal whatever it is they'd otherwise really like to? And I think most of the time that answer is yes. And that's not even counting about the other cheating stuff that this card stops.
Mm-hmm.
This card can have a 3.
Hooray! We're unanimous for once.
Yay!
On the count of 3. 3.
1, 2, 3.
3.
3. On the count of 1.
Oh yes, I remember those.
Yes.
Those were funny. Yeah, 3.
In Adventure, this card gets better. Also, while you don't have Portal and you don't have Zecora, Mysterious, and Spooky in core, you do still have the best card that this functions with, which is Changed, which is otherwise kind of trash.
It's very funny with Changed.
It is very good with Changed.
Let me get rid of that. Get rid of that too.
It's quite rude. But only in that exact context. Also, this is another example of where Silverstream is not always just great. Silverstream, here you go. You may have this bubble.
Yeah, this is why my pink-white deck has to have a Winterzilla because of this in Blindfold. Speaking of though, this card really does make Reanimator very sad.
Good. There needs to be more things that make Reanimator very sad.
I agree. Did we determine what happens if the opponent puts this into play when you off of your royal family?
They've both entered play and so couldn't have replaced the other card entering play.
Okay. So you can't be gotcha'd that hard.
No. Next card.
Let's see.
I think this one's a Bugle.
Yeah, this is Crystal Mine Cage. 3 cost, 3 white rec, 5 power, resource, accessory. Doesn't this look like a nice accessory you would like to wear?
No.
Play on a friend. When this card enters play, if it wasn't played, retire it. We'll get into that in a moment. You control the attached friend. You may play this card from your discard pile by retiring a non-token friend as an additional cost.
Unless your opponent has a citywide shield up.
I mean, you can still play it. It just won't. You'll
Seems
just be sad.
bad.
Actually, citywide shield doesn't stop resources.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't. Oh, so this is fine. Okay, cool. Well, then go ahead and play this with citywide shield. Okay, that's fine.
This sounds a whole lot like taking control of all the friends
And then
and then retiring all the friends. You just need
To
two
pay
of these and a
3
lot of
every
AT.
time.
2 of these and a ton of AT, and go for it.
You know what I like to do with 2 identical copies of a card that cost 3 and a ton of AT?
Just cycle them?
I
Just
like
do
to
'em
win
both.
the game with Miss Vane instead.
Oh, see, no. See, that ends it too fast. You've got to inflict maximum emotional damage.
Oh, so we're going for the goal of this deck is not to win. The goal of this deck is to make the opponent lose.
Correct. Look, there are ways you can make this cheaper, right? You've got the ants, who I believe let you pay less. No, Kerfuffle lets you pay less.
How does this work? This is an accessory. How does this work with rarity? Not the way you want it to, I assume.
Not the way you want it to. I mean, it also works really poorly with rarity because
you didn't play them.
I mean, you played it at the beginning, and that's fine. So you can do it off of rarity's like main ability. But her Unity 15, yeah, they're all going to enter play on your friends, and you're going to control all your friends for the briefest of moments, and then you have to retire this card because you didn't actually play all those copies.
But at least you'll still control your friends.
But you will.
You just have proof that you control them for a brief moment.
Okay,
But for
so
a very, very brief moment, you introduced the hardest of metal accessories.
I'm going to find a way to break the triggers so that these all stay in play, and then whatever modifier causes that to happen falls off, and then I own your entire field.
I'm
Did I
going to
tell
make sure you're judging when that happens so that you have to deal with it.
I already told you how you do this. This is very easy. You just use Into the Stream of Silence. You shut off everything at a problem. Then you play Rarity, creating all the copies of this. Oh no, wait, not Rarity. You play Stygian, because that you have to make the copies onto opposing friends. And so that's what you do. You just portal Stygian a whole bunch at another problem and make a bunch of crystal mine cages. The actual thing
work because you don't control the friend because this card has no text.
You don't control the friend that turn, then you pass turn. Then you control the friend.
Yes, okay, fair enough.
The actual thing you do is just run 2 copies of Kerfuffle, who is not unique, and says you pay 1 less to play resources on friends. Then you have 2 copies of this, and every 1 AT you spend becomes
belly
I steal your friend, and then I retire your friend.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, that's fun. Does Kerfuffle say minimum?
Kerfuffle does not say minimum, as far as I am aware. Kerfuffle does. Kerfuffle does.
She
say
does
minimum,
say
yes.
minimum.
She does.
So you just need to play 2 copies of this 4-cost friend,
and then every 1 AT you have is a belly flop. You know what? Probably not. But
look, there are certainly worse ways to go.
It's stylish. You get to do it with accessories. All right. Also, this is an accessory.
You get to do it in mono white.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm not seeing.
It's good.
Well, I mean, it's fun for you.
We should also mention a very other important part of this card. The bottom there. Congratulations, Instagram Continentals 2022.
Yep. Nice, flavorful design of card. Good to see Pony Charm back in a particular fashion.
This is a much meaner pony charm.
Yes, it is.
Particular fashion.
That being said, 2.5 from me.
2.5.
2.5.
You're stealing a friend. I think it's a 3 because you can also then just be like, I have your friend.
I have a 2. 3 AT to take a friend isn't worth it on its own.
Right, it's kind of expensive. Like, if you want to do dumb stuff with this, you can make this hurt a lot harder than a 2.5, but that's setup. And I don't think every deck that runs one of these is going to be doing the dumb thing.
I do think it is important that this card has the text regarding if it wasn't played to retire it.
Yes. If that wasn't there, I believe my opinion would change
I would run this
violently.
with Stygian all the time.
So, gotta fix that one a little bit. It is tutorable by a number of things, though, that search for accessories, so that's quite nice.
I mean, yeah, Somber just whistles these suckers up out of nothing.
Let's stick with the white theme. Ivory, what do we got?
We have latest greatest creation. 2 cost, 5 white rec. Oh, this was the other one. I couldn't remember what the other one was. 4 power, resource asset unique. Play to your home. Main phase. Exhaust this card and discard a card to search your sideboard for a card. Ooh. Reveal it and put it into your hand.
So, I do need to mention this off the top. It is a sideboard deck. If Blindfold is in play, you cannot search your sideboard deck. I'm very sad.
Good. Make Blindfold better.
I feel like I might
Yep.
I might have a lukewarm take on this card, but I'm more interested to hear GP's opinion on this since he's rated this the highest.
Was that the one who rated this the highest? I was the
Yep.
one who
You
rated this
are.
the highest. Okay.
Sideboards are cool.
So this is going. My logic for this, I suppose, is the same logic for the lunch break that Bugle and Ara and people had, which is by itself, this card does not provide enormous impact if you ignore everything else that goes on around it. However, if you are building your sideboard in this case, such as to support this card, then every time you choose to play it, you are getting tremendous value out of it one way or another. Whether you're doing that as an ability to find a combo piece, whether you're doing that as an ability to have like your silver bullet without having to take up actual deck space and have more reliable means of finding it, or whether you're doing it for just additional duplicate effects like through Reanimator, where now you get to, with a single card, find your reanimation tool and also get your reanimation target into the yard.
Yeah, so I forgot that we had changed this. I'm going to bring this up to a 4 as well, because I forgot that you don't need to match the cards anymore.
Right. So, with that being said, I think that when you choose to use this card, provided that you are setting yourself up to do so, it is going to be very impactful on the game. It's not going to be an instant win every time, but being able to find a particular card that is otherwise untouchable by your opponent is quite good. And being able to turn 1 copy of a Silver Bullet card in your sideboard into 3 copies of a Silver Bullet, or rather 3 copies of like 3 different Silver Bullets by just running this is even better.
Yeah, and unless the opponent's getting rid of this immediately, you now have that Silver Bullet at your beck and call, and that is massive.
I mean, that's the fun part about this, is being rude with it. Oh, a latest greatest creation. Okay. So let me see your hand. Yeah, get rid of that.
Yes, you can do that if you can disrupt your opponent's hand at immediate speed.
Yes, if the
Are
opponent
you
plays
finding
Soprano.
a way to tutor this out? Is that why it's...
Well, there's 3 of them in your deck.
Yeah.
So you can run 1 copy of a card you might need in a particular matchup and keep that card in your sideboard. but have 3 copies of this in your draw deck, and that effectively means you have 3 times the likelihood of drawing that one card that you need.
Yeah, let's say your worst matchup is Reanimator, and no other matchups in the entire game remove cards from their discard pile. You can run 3 of this and 1 blindfold, and you can easily you're more likely to draw your blindfold than running 2 blindfolds in your sideboard. Plus, this will then find other cards as well.
Right.
Assuming it stays in play.
What this effectively does, if you're not using it for any kind of combo potential or like a wish board or toolboxing, which is the other fun thing you can do with it, is it expands your silver bullets to be slightly broader. Because they can be silver bullets or they can be other cards, which may or may not be useful.
Yeah, if you run this card, you are building your deck very differently from how people build their decks normally nowadays. Because you are basically saying, these 5 cards are always in my sideboard.
That's one way you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. So I think for this one, this is interesting because the skill cap on this card is you can't see it.
It's very high.
That being said, the skill floor on this one, I think, is also very high to the point where you have to make a bunch of very, very considered decisions about how you build your deck and how you're going to use this.
Are you saying the skill floor is higher than many cards' ceilings?
I think so, yeah. I think the skill floor on this is incredibly high.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm honestly kind of intimidated by this card a bit. It's hard.
The obvious place for this card is Reanimator. Everywhere else, it's harder.
Right. Now, personally, this card is a 0 for me. I don't sideboard.
Okay, what is it for 99% of the other player base?
It's a 3.
I think it's a 4, for reasons I said.
I give it a 3.
I actually gave this a 2. I don't actually think that this is as useful as you're making it sound. I think this is adding unnecessary complexities to your deck building in decks that aren't really gonna need this.
Let me give you a simpler example. Let's take Gyro. If Gyro said you had to discard a card, would you give the Gyro a 2?
Would I give Gyro a 2? No, probably not, because Gyro is... how is Gyro the same as this? This is pulling from the sideboard. Gyro looks at your entire deck.
Right.
In terms of silver bullets, yes.
You are putting your silver bullets into your sideboard instead of your deck.
Gyro often is in a deck that doesn't run 3 copies of the events that they're going to use Gyro to find.
Yeah.
They're using Gyro to find singleton copies of cards when they need them. Combo pieces, one-trick ponies, whatever they are.
Well, sure, but I also have to point out that in the historical context here, we're also talking about a bunch of metas where f-stop was a thing, and you were maybe not running 3 copies of everything anyway. So Gyro can find something that you're running a 3 of just fine if you need one of those right now.
Sure. Latest greatest cannot. But if you think about the number of different options that Gyro would normally tutor for in that deck, it's usually not that great in terms of variety.
Right. Like, the ability to find a silver bullet is one of the reasons that you'd run Gyro. And you're never feeling good about playing Gyro to go find a 3 of, but you can. So
you could find your belly flop, or you could find your magical misfire.
Right. So this has less utility than Gyro does. And so I think that Ivory has a perfectly defensible position here by saying that this is less good than Gyro.
I think that's fine. I think that there's a larger gap between this and Gyro than, say... I think the difference between this card and Gyro with a discard added is greater than the difference between a 2 and, like, a 4. I think...
I would agree.
I think 3 is a defensible position. I think 2 is less so.
I heard my name, but nothing before it.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that at best, this is just a complicated way of building your reanimator deck, and at worst, it's just you admitting that you sideboard wrong.
I think
See, you sideboard before the game, before the tournament started, is what this card does.
Yeah, and I think that's overcomplicating a deck that would use this.
fair enough. Let's move on.
I'm also giving this a 4. Basically, for all of the reasons GP mentioned earlier.
Did I say I gave this a 2? I don't remember if I did. I gave this a 2.
You did.
Yes.
That's why we sat here arguing with you for the last 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Next
He's
card.
great.
This card's about rocks.
This
It's a
card is
rock
cute.
turret. It has 4 power, 1 cost, and 3 orange rec. It's a resource and an asset. Okay, I'm done with the mod. Play to your home.
Ask Terrace drawing a question.
If you would score 1 or more points while a player has no cards in their deck, score that many points plus 1 instead. Immediate. Exhaust this card. Put the top 2 cards of a player's deck into their discard pile.
Diamond Song asks, how do hooves work? I don't know.
There's little tendrils on them that gravitate towards objects and latch onto them. That's how ponies...
Do not link the image.
I believe Celeste AI was like, they have little small pinchers.
Magnets!
And also magnets, yes.
It's actually iron. It's iron ore. It's a mill card.
Yeah. Mill's fun.
For you.
Yeah.
I think this card is incredibly fun, but I'm not rating it on how fun it is.
Look, I can't rate it as low as you rated it, Bugle. And the reason I can't is because it does give you a method of scoring points. And any effect in this game that allows you to score points is so uncommon.
This card has
points
the word...
are so valued that it can't be that low.
This card has the word point on it.
The average number of points this scores in a game is less than 1.
I actually have the exact opposite opinion of you, GP, for the same reasons. I think that because this can mill cards, it's a 2, and the point scoring is almost not even a factor here.
I do agree with Bugle that I do think the number of points this will allow you to score is 0 in most games. That being said, there is a substantial amount of milling you can do, and this might actually be enough to start disrupting opposing decks.
Yeah, I think that this is probably... I'm giving this a 3 because I think that there's enough mill available that this starts being an actual threat.
It's cheap, it's repeatable, it synergizes with Handy, it synergizes with resource copying, it's not unique. If you can rip more than half of your opponent's deck away and be in the same colors that might also be ripping your opponent's hand apart, that might be enough for the card to have value on its own. Orange-white control is weird, and I don't know if Orange-white control would go deep on running this, but Rarity and Trenderhoof are a good card, and Sweetie Belle controlling your opponent's top deck has been a thing for a while. So slapping a couple of these in there too to just push a bit harder might not be the worst thing in the world.
I'm just of the opinion that a card that all it does is mill is not going to have game impact. It does help you close out the game if you have accomplished that goal, but mill has historically not accomplished much outside of being very fun.
I think at some point you get enough mill that it mills.
And there are several decks in this meta that are going through their deck very quickly.
That's true. The Silver Stream white deck frequently draws 3 cards a turn.
Right. The riff on on Shock Troops does that. The Celestia deck absolutely does that because it's drawing multiple cards a turn and often tutoring stuff out of there too.
Yep.
And eventually you might just reach the point where you stop trying to mill the opponent and you start looking at how many cards you can draw and then just supplement that card draw with mill and then just slam a Still Partying. Or, yes, a Still Partying. Because it'll work on any player.
But yeah, no, I'm still not convinced at the moment. But I think this card is super fun, and I look forward to playing with it.
Okay, if you're giving it a shot, then that's fair. I do think it's a 2.
I give it a 3.
I think I gave it a 3 earlier.
I gave this a 2.
And I am giving this the only one on the entire sheet right now.
Rip.
That is a terrible pun in the flavor text, by the way. I hope you feel bad about what you did, Art. But I know you don't.
See, the thing is Mod likes jokes.
This is true. Mod does like stand-up.
That was a joke.
F. All right, last one.
How many hours do we need to talk about this card? Like 4?
4.5.
4.5 hours to talk about this one card?
There's too much text on this card. Dear Princess Celestia, please remove 3.
This card does stuff at the end.
This is a 0-point epic troublemaker garbage 0. Move on.
Yeah. Wait, no, it says it gains value.
It has the word point on it. That means it's good.
What is the card?
Yeah,
say?
yeah. Didn't we just learn that?
Yes, so it must be at least a 2.
Okay.
Who's reading this one?
You are.
You are.
Oh, am I? Sorry, my bad. Flashbee Queen, charging up 5 power, 0 points. Troublemaker Epic. At the end of each player's Troublemaker phase, if this Troublemaker wasn't challenged this turn, banish the top card of that player's deck beneath this card. This card has +1 power and has its point value increased by 1 for each card banished beneath it. Terrible pun in flavor text. Very reminiscent of early game flavor text, though. It's a little bit of nostalgia there. I like it.
It's Pikachu.
All right, so let me explain what you do. You play mono purple, okay? Step 1, play Tempest. Step 2, turn 1, flip Tempest, put this into play face up at your problem. Step 3, spend every purple movement event in the game to prevent your opponent from having characters at this problem. Step 4, challenge this when it actually has 15 counters on it after 7 turn cycles. Step 5, question mark. As for how you win, step 6, profit.
Did you just give GoHome.deck a win con?
Yes. Except it's a rare.
Yeah, terrible. Why is the rare? Let's fix that.
It's an
Yeah,
epic.
why is this epic troublemaker a rare? Please explain.
You know we're not allowed to have those things in Pauper. Okay, in all seriousness, this is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is a very fascinating card.
So it'll scale at a rate that's relatively reasonable, right? 6 for 1, 7 for 2 is about what we see for some troublemakers now. 8 for 3 means it's less disruptive than other cards that have 3 bonus, but it is higher power, and then it can go beyond that as well. If you can actually let this sit for 2 full turn cycles, this can be worth quite a few points.
9 for 4 is massive.
Yeah, 9 for 4 is pretty good.
And I think orange is going to be the best suited for that, because orange just goes, I'm just going to flip a bunch of cards and have an arbitrarily large amount of power. So you better get rid of this before I decide I want to cash in.
Yeah, Grogar Farm, I think, is looking at this and just being like, I'll take it. Diamond Song says she's so fluffy. She is. The thing is, the next line of that movie is, "I'm gonna die," and I think you are.
I'm in danger.
want-
9 for 4 is pretty good. That's really tempting. That does not require that much defense.
I
No,
want to see someone do something stupid with this involving Queen Novo.
That would be amusing.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, the
Yeah.
little Queen Novo? Oh,
Mhm.
no. Why would you do that?
I mean,
that
I
sounds
don't know.
really good.
Hold
don't
up.
know.
Oh, man.
I don't
I-
know how you do it, but I know someone can
Oh,
figure it out.
I think that's it. I think you nailed it.
I think I'm upgrading this.
Is that really? That's why I gave it a 4.
I think you're right.
I just don't know how you do it. I just know it's possible.
I think that's it.
You want to Novo to beat it up?
Yes.
Yeah.
You let her get huge, and then Novo just kind of rolls up and is like, "Hi, I'm also a queen."
Oh, you have 20 power? I also have a 2 in my power
And
box.
yeah, Novo just kind of looks at the back of her flipper and is just like, You gonna?
Man, that's really good, Ivory. Well done. Where's Pancake? Come on, Pancake, let's hear it. Viable?
He was here
Yeah.
before, but my guess is he went to bed.
Fair
This is
enough.
past his bedtime.
That's fair.
No, he's still here.
Okay. I would
is he?
like.
Okay.
Yeah, he's immediately started brewing with this in Nova.
Oh no. What have you done?
I
I
mean,
would-
that interaction aside, I do think this is still a strong card in other situations.
Yeah, this also is like old school Discord and villainous epic Glimmer, in that it can just sometimes bash your opponent's win con.
Which I hate. I hate it so much.
Stop
But
giving
my-
me excuses to increase this thing's rating.
But my combo, and then the B is like no, and eats your combo.
Pika, sorry, but B printer go burr.
I do not want my Miss May eaten to this card.
She is so fluffy, you're going to die.
Yeah.
All right. Ivory has convinced me. This is a 4.
I think it's a 3.
Explain your smallness.
Because Novo things generally don't work. And without that, I think it's like troublemakers are very easy to get rid of in other ways.
That's fair.
I think if they are getting rid of the troublemaker that is sitting there doing nothing, you still come out ahead.
But how's
Because
it
you are
different than any
probably
other troublemaker?
farming. You're probably farming at a different problem while this is happening.
That's fair.
But that's the same as any other troublemaker. Like, there's nothing special about this one.
It gets up to like 5 or 6 bonus.
Yeah, you let this sit there for a bit, then you beat up Aponia Shadows, and suddenly points.
The point value scales. Nothing else can surpass 3 right now without investment of additional cards. This is the single most valuable troublemaker that the game can present.
I want to play the Spitfire and discard 15 Pegasi from my hands to score 15 points.
Sounds good.
Look, if that
No.
gets it done.
You mean retire 15 Pegasi from play? Or
Yeah.
blue friends from play?
Oh, is that what the text is? Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. That's fine. I can probably. There's probably ways to do that easily.
Can I just epic win against this thing instead? That's just much easier.
Those
Yeah,
are
go for it in Harmony.
those are
Loses
both
to
sadly
epic
only
win.
opposing troublemakers.
Dies to epic win 0.
Yeah.
Dive to epic win.
I would like a card that changes ownership of a troublemaker, not
We
takes
can't-
my
We
opponent's.
have-
We cannot have that. That is bad. You cannot donate troublemakers because then you just start donating like wild manticores or smoozes, and then you don't even need Pipsqueak. And then working as intended becomes much more terrifying.
That deck, a card that donates is by definition minimum rare.
Probably.
Have a 4.
All right.
I already said earlier, but I gave this a 4. It's still an epic troublemaker, even without any potential card interactions. So I think epics by default have a pretty significant game impact.
It's also not unique, so you can actually get duplicate copies of this up at Problems and just start ripping your opponent's deck apart. So you just run Flashbee Queen alongside
Rock Trade.
Okay. Actually, I have 3 words that might convince you to up your rating.
Mm-hmm.
Hide, Squeak, Repeat.
Hide, Faint, Repeat.
Hide, Faint, Repeat.
Hide, Faint, Repeat. Oh my god. That's so
That
old!
hasn't worked in... That deck barely worked when it came out.
It worked against metas that weren't prepared for it, and
Yeah.
you just wrecked those metas. It was so fun.
Let me see if I have a link for that, because this makes a lot more sense if you have the context of what.
Yeah, it was. You can repeatedly. Well, skip a troublemaker phase.
That was Absolute Discord, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one. Let me look at this. How banned is this deck? Oh, I should just let me make sure that this is.
I don't think it's banned at all.
It might have some troublemakers banned. We'd have to see.
No, it's still Harmony legal. Okay. Hold on. Let me bring this up real quick.
But yeah, I also gave this a 4. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Kitty box scare.
Nurse Red Heart. That's a throwback.
Back when Cloud Chaser was like still went in every deck.
Well, this was also a friend-based deck that you wanted to play friend every turn.
Yeah.
And it ran the Twilight main just because you needed 2 colors.
It sure did.
This was fun when it worked. This was oppressive when it worked.
This is a deck that you absolutely need no one to know about going into the event.
Yeah.
Because the second people know you're running this, they're going to tech against it, and you're just going to be sad.
The game used to look like this.
Yeah.
I kind of miss it sometimes.
The horror.
I'm telling you. Sealed events using only Premier era cards. You'd be surprised how janky it is.
Bacon in this?
Yeah.
Bacon goes on everything.
Bacon's color entry here.
She's not entry.
Your main...
No, the other Bacon. The troublemaker Bacon.
Oh god, why is that in here?
What does she do again?
Pay 3,
I don't know, who cares?
Banish an opponent's friend or resource to beneath this card. And when the card leaves play or is turned face down, you put any cards back.
It's friend removal.
Yeah, it's friend removal. And the card's never going to leave play because your opponent's never going to get a troublemaker phase and dilemmas didn't exist yet.
Oh,
yeah, I suppose so.
That's so bad. Ugh.
Not back then, it wasn't.
Man, not being able to deal with yellow Parasprite. This is so toxic. I hate this deck.
Oh yeah, this deck was the most toxic. What does it matter? You can't confront points anyway, like problems anyway. But anyway, this is a more or less irrelevant.
Yeah.
But thank you for the trip down memory lane, GT.
You're welcome. I was thinking of this earlier, and I thought you'd appreciate that. So can I get an extra half point from that, Cheese? Because he goes in hide, faint, repeat?
No.
If I was Cheese, I wouldn't do it out of spite.
Oh, rude.
It does though. You're not wrong. It goes in this bad harmony deck.
All right. Well, that was it. An hour and 40 minutes. Ivory's probably pissed at us for having
No, I'm
gone
not.
so long.
I don't work tomorrow.
Oh, never mind. Well, let's do it all again.
Hold on. We need people to guess who was the most optimistic and who was the most pessimistic. From chat.
I think for a pessimist, I'm pretty optimistic.
What?
It's a Paramore song from like 2004 or 5. I don't remember.
Wow.
Paramore.
Well, we're not going to bother with that. That's okay. People can chime in if they want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, those cards are all going to be available soon, Trademark. How
Soon
soon?
TM, yeah.
How soon is soon TM? Yes, Diamond is red. It's a trick question. Diamond is the most optimistic. It's good.
That is probably true, actually.
It is good to have blind optimism.
Diamond is just channeling Silverstream here.
Yeah. Everything is new and exciting and shiny.
But does she have?
Is that a yak?
I actually need a stream script here, so I can do the thing.
Let's see. So plugs. Coco 40 signups are supposed to be happening now, so go do that.
Can I play with these new cards?
No, you cannot. These new cards are not finalized to the point which we have released them. As we've said previously, if you want to take a look at these, and these on Ponyhead at the moment, these will still be using the old art. They are currently available in Prize Wheel in Nightmare, because the way that I made them show up is to ban them all.
If you let me play with these, I'll sign up for Coco.
So the thing here is, no. Also, this is your own fault.
How is this my own fault?
Because we needed the cards finalized earlier.
I was the one who finalized them, and I finalized them very quickly. Do not sit here and well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, me.
I mean, a little bit, but no, we don't have these in a state where they're fully finalized and ready to go yet. I expect this will happen very quickly, but it's going to be unfair to the people who have signed up if we change the rules.
That's fair.
What tournaments can we expect to see these cards in?
I'm glad you asked. I don't actually know. There's going to be at least one online con and probably another core mode Coco between now and Everfree. Spoilers, Everfree. But you saw that one coming, right? We're doing Continentals, right? It's going to be core, right?
That thing? Yeah.
Continentals at Ciderfest?
Continentals at Everfree. For this year.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, I think it'll finally wrap up our discussion.
Have I stalled long enough?
You've stalled long enough. Thank you. I found the script. We'd like to give a big shout out to all our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. If you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime. Especially if GP's up late doing a WoW hardcore challenge and not dying for once. Shut up, I got better. Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, linked just below the stream. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese.
Cat.
Ivory Starlight.
And
someone else.
Special guest.
Do it.
Say the line, Bart.
And I'm going to go take all the extra turns. Bye.
But
No, you're not. The only reason that you haven't died in that run so far is because I haven't figured out which Discord server you're in, installed the Murloc aggro noise into the soundboard.
No, I'm going to take the extra turns with the blue card. No.
We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Next week? Yeah, next time. Anyway, bye.